So I am delighted to welcome Dr. Jo Whitaker along to speak with us this evening. Possibly be ready for your mind to be blown.
Thank you very much for inviting me, Edward. We've had a couple of good talks together, and we're both very passionate about what we call maybe biohacks. There's a lot
Yes.
of tips and tricks that people can use to help themselves just feel and look better. And these are not very well known in the mainstream media. And when you go to the traditional kind of like dieting world, they certainly don't teach you these things. So I'm really grateful to be able to share my knowledge. And if it helps people, then I am blessed.
Fab, 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 fab. Would you mind, for those who haven't seen either of our previous interviews, could you share a little bit about kind of who you are and what you do?
Sure, yeah. So I trained as a scientist. I've got a BSc honours in genetics and microbiology, a master's degree in oncology, which is cancer, and I've got a PhD in immunology, so how your immune system works. And that all completed back in 2003. I have to remember, right? So I'm 50 years old this year, which I have to remind myself. And during my sort of working career, I've always worked with new technologies. I'm a very curious person and I've worked in engineering and science. But the last 5 years, because really of the environment that we've been thrust in, I've spent this last 5 years researching non-mainstream information about how the body works, including how to detox, why water is absolutely crucial to health, well-being, happiness, and weight loss, actually, and also parasites and things like this. But what also I'm going to talk about today is something called life force energy, which people may or may not be aware of, which might really, I think it will be the little click in people's brain to go, oh, that's why that happens. But yeah, but also during my kind of scientific career, I, like you, well, I was a personal trainer. So a lot of people said I wanted to gain muscle and lose weight. And in the end, you realize that actually the whole just, exercise more than what you put in is kind of like only half the truth. Whilst it's got a lot of truth to it, it really depends on what you eat as to how you can control that. Because a lot of my clients, just like yours, like realize when they ate certain things, it made them hungry and hungrier, and they would have to like starve themselves, and then they would never stick to a diet. And so I never like this word diet. It's always about lifestyle change. This should be easy. It should not be difficult. So that's kind of when you and I got together, because we were both preaching this same message. So there was that.
Awesome, awesome. So, what have you been? I don't know where you would like to start. I can just leave it over to you, we we one of our discussions, I think, actually just after our last interview, our last chat, you were talking about reading. Correct me if I'm wrong here. Reading the life force off of foods.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Um, so everything has a life force energy. And some food is literally dead food, and some food is living food. And this, but it looks the same. You really can't necessarily tell just by looking at it whether it's going to sustain you or not until you've eaten it and you think to yourself, "Oh, I feel nice and awake. I feel good after eating that," or I've just gone into a food coma. And so the looks of something isn't in there. Everything has life force energy, including our bodies. And I explain that we are like a Wi-Fi router. If you were just to say the Wi-Fi router was like a plastic box in the corner of your living room, and it didn't have any of these magnetic waves that came out of it with information. It would be pretty useless, right? Because it's not going to connect you to the internet. But there is that. You can't see it, just like you can't see radio waves, but it is there. And you know it's there actually. And everybody will recognize this, that when you stand close to somebody, you can feel them in your personal space, right? And this is because your biofields, which extend when you've got your shoes on, they will extend about the length of your arm. And that's when someone comes close to you within that space, you start feeling it. And if their vibrations or the information in there is complementary to you, like it's your partner or somebody that you trust and all this kind of stuff, you won't mind them being in your personal space. But if they don't, you stand back because you're like, what's this? What's this weird feeling I've got in my biofield? And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. Really, human beings are electromagnetic beings. And the solid part of us, I guess, is like the box in the corner of your room. But the information and everything that creates that box inside the room is actually your life force energy. So was that so Anne Marie, is this new to you, this kind of information, or does what I say resonate with you?
No, I mean, I've started going to like women's circle groups where a lot on up at lifts, and the lady who does like the sound bowls and the vibration things and all that, and then she talks about the energy from like the moon and all that, but I had no clue what all that was about. I just went really for to like relaxation and say less stress in my mind. But what you were saying there, I don't know what that's about, but I understand it because of what I've been looking and reading on her. It's maybe not the same, but just when you're talking about electric magnetic fields and things like that, like I get it, but it's all new. It's all new, but I
So,
understand it. A
so,
life force energy.
so is the life force energy or our energetic field? Is that so? This sounds really silly,
Yes,
but we are alive, therefore we have life force energy in us because we are alive.
that's right. This
And
is right. And actually, all objects have this, but the life force energy is either something that is ever expanding, and you can see this through light. So I wonder if you've noticed this when you go out, when you look at like things like plants and trees, and you look around the leaves, you can see like a glow.
this is
Something,
where I was going, aura.
yeah, like your aura. Okay, this is exactly the same thing. People probably know this word aura, but they usually talk about what color is your aura. But the color is the information. It's a frequency. So each color has a different frequency. So yes, it's exactly the same thing. And plants and animals and people have this glow around them. I can teach everybody right now how to look at this. So should we have a little bit of an experiment, Anne-Marie,
Yeah.
while you're here? Are you up for,
Yeah,
are you up for this? Right. The
yeah.
best way to see this is to hold your two fingers like this and stare away from the screen because it's hard to see. And you want a neutral background. And as you're looking between your two fingers, I want you to not focus, I want you to focus away from it. So make your eyes go a little bit blurry. So let your eyes relax, your focus relax. Put your thumbs quite close together, and you will start to see when you start relaxing your mind and looking at the right background. A dark background is a very good place to see it. I'm just looking at mine now.
I've got a whiteboard here, and it's really good against the white, the
Is
stark
it really
white.
going to get away? Okay, brilliant. Yeah, that is another one. You'll start to see, I always find it easier on a dark background personally. but if you can see it on that, that's brilliant. And you'll start to see like a glow between your fingers. That is effectively your life force energy, your aura. That's the brightest part. It extends further than that. I was waiting for Anne-Marie to see her reaction.
That's it.
Right. What have you got? Have you got a white bit of paper in front of you?
Oh, but yeah.
Right. Take your glasses off
And then, what's it in?
and look at the space between your fingers.
Yeah.
And if you can, allow your eyes to go slightly out of focus. And you start to see almost like a mirage or like a hazy something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
It's been there all this time and you've never realized it was there.
Never.
And once you see it, and this is a great way to practice, once you see it, you can't unsee it. And then when you start, so have a look at a plant, you've got a nice plant, I presume that's the real one behind you. Go have a stare of that and do the same thing. Stare, let your eyes kind of go a little bit out of focus and look around the leaves and you'll see a glow. And everything has a glow. And it's kind of practicing putting your eyes in that state because you're used to trying to get a sharp focus and ignore all of that blurry stuff. And I do wonder about the the opticians and necessarily what they're saying, because they're just trying to get everything into sharp focus. But really, there are other wavelengths on the magnetic spectrum which your eyes can see, but you have to notice it. Otherwise, what happens is you just ignore it and you're like, your eyes just filter it out. I mean, you don't see absolutely everything in your vision because you can't possibly take that on board, right? So your eyes will just choose to ignore it. But when you start seeing it,
Do you think that you could use Magic Eye? If you got a Magic Eye book, could you train your eye to see auras better using a Magic Eye book?
yes, you can. And this is a really great suggestion because this is what I did. And now I can very easily do it. But you can also get these, if you go onto like Instagram and probably Facebook as well, although I haven't looked, you look for Magic Eye moving images as well. And they've got videos and they've got images, still images. And you've got to see the hidden image inside there, and it turns into a 3D image. And this is when I say to people say, well, I can't see it. And I'm like, you've got to train yourself. There is, like whatever it is, it'll be a weird pattern picture, won't it? And there'll be a spanner or something random right in the middle.
Yeah.
I said, there's a spanner in here. We're not all seeing the same thing. You can't see it. I can. And the person who created it's telling you that it's there. It's like, just because you can't see it, it's just because you haven't developed that ability yet. So great suggestion. And everyone will have quite a lot of fun, I think, trying to see those. I know I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm quite good at these kind of things, like when they say relax your eyes and see like what you can see, things like that. I generally pick them up.
Ah,
Right. So
brilliant.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
This is
Wow.
So this is actually so we're starting to see that we do actually have this life force energy. So another way to see is your hands are incredibly sensitive, and you have chakras. If everybody knows what these are, so these are you've got them in various places all over your body. We have the 7 main ones, which everyone talks about, but they are in different parts of your body, and it's because they call them energy centers. All right, we've got some powerful ones here. Basically, everybody knows we've got a nervous system that's electrical, right? So these centers are where a lot of electrical impulses are, if you want to talk about, say, in mainstream terms. So everyone's talking about the same thing. And your hands are incredibly sensitive because there's a lot of electrical connection and nerve endings here to allow you to feel and pick stuff up. So if you get your hand and let's say I've got this glass here, and I put my hand near that glass, I can feel whether it's hot or whether it's cold or its shape. If I was going to close my eyes and put my hand over here, if I focus I've got to focus on the nerve endings of my hand. Okay. And if you were to put your hand like in front of you and even close your eyes, you would be able to feel where the table is without accidentally touching it. It's not just because you close your eyes, you don't know where anything is. It's just you have to use your different senses and put your hands over and you'll be able to wave over. This is especially good when you do it on people. And people will start to say to you, I can feel the warmth of your hands. You're not touching them, but your energy is transferring to them, your electrical energy, and they are sensing that as heat. So there's lots of ways that, you can prove to yourself that these things, are correct. So this is the wonderful news. The interesting news then is that the food that you eat or the water that you drink either has life force energy in or it doesn't. And when you eat food without life force energy, you will feel empty. You will not, it will be very short-lived. You might get a kick of some kind of hormone or something like that, and when insulin's released, or you might get a dopamine kick or whatever it is, but it's not long-lasting. And when you do, when they are doing processed food, because of the processing way that they make the food, literally all the life force energy is sucked out of these things, especially when you chop and chop and chop and mash and mash and mash and cook and cook and cook food. And one way you can test this, so I'm going to go a little bit off piece now, a little bit for those people to get onto the stage. Have you ever used a pendulum before, Anne-Marie? Oh,
Yeah, I've got one. Yeah.
Ah, brilliant. So these, if you use them right, are incredibly good at detecting whether.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. I've got one over there. Cool. Right.
You've got one over there of detecting whether something has life force energy. So obviously, if you start turning it around, it's going to turn around, but eventually it's going to stop, right? So you've got to keep your hands very still. What's very interesting is when you put your pendulum over some food, keep your hands still. The other thing you've got to try not to do is to try not to stop it. People are trying so hard to keep it still that when it starts moving, and by the way, it's going to move in a clockwise or an anti-clockwise direction, or it's going to stay still, which means it's dead. Okay. Now, it's dead energy. When you put you've got to try and focus on keeping this still. When you get, let's say some food, let me see if I can put my thing down. I might have to take my back screen off a little bit so you guys can see. Let me just have a look. Just my background effects. None. Okay. Just put this down a little bit. So I've got this glass here. You won't be able to see my hands at the same time. And I encourage people to do this for themselves rather than me show them. But if you move the pendulum slowly across here, if you'll feel if there is any life force energy in here, right? You will feel this like hit a wall. You'll feel it, or like it'll hit some resistance. Because in here there should be a field going around and around. I'm going to hold this still, and I know that this water is pretty dead water because I've deliberately put in here some. I'm going to try not to talk at the same time. You can see it start to spin. You see it? Now, to you, that might look clockwise. It's going anti-clockwise. This, oh my gosh, it's going mad. Right. This is not going the right way. This is going anti-clockwise. Right. When it goes anti-clockwise, it's draining your life force energy. And this is lemonade bought from a bottle. So when you buy processed food, if you do this to tap water, if you do this to bottled water, you will find it will go the opposite way round to what it's supposed to be doing. And you can do this with any food.
McDonald's.
Oh my gosh, that will be spinning the way around. Now, your field is moving. You're looking at it as a life. It is moving clockwise. When you put things in your body that are moving anti-clockwise, it will drain your energy. And you won't feel alert and alive. If you just bear with me, I'm going to go and get something that's going to, in fact, I've got something here. Let me just check this. Just going to do a little bit of an experiment live here, everybody. So bear with me. Okay. When you charge up your water and give it the life force energy that it needs, and I'll tell you how to do that. Right. The first thing is organic, fresh vegetables. That's got life force energy in. And that's why when you have a really nicely made salad, you feel full, right? Because you're getting all of this energy rather than feeling drained. Let me just test this now. Whoa. Okay. This is interesting experiment. So this is because this is quantum physics. I'm not going to really blow everybody's mind here. You don't need to know this. You don't need to know this detail. You just need to know that everything around you has a field, a magnetic field like you do, and it is either going clockwise or it's going anti-clockwise or it's going dead. Literally everything, whether I talk about my mobile phone or whether I talk about food or to talk about water. And you can try this yourself. And Anne-Marie, I'd love you to try this on your tap water and various other ways that you check your water, because you will see that this pendulum will swing one way or another. What I've done, and I'll explain to people what I've done in just a minute, but what I'm just going to show you is I've transformed this water by giving it an electromagnetic field to give it life force energy. And this is not difficult to do. Okay. You're just like,
I know, I can see where you're going with this, and this is blowing my mind open. Okay.
So as I'm pushing this pendulum now, I can feel a field. It's like I've got to push it over. You've got to be gentle. I mean, these things are subtle. So as I'm doing this, I can feel this now. Right. And I'm going to try and get it to the center. Oh my gosh, there it goes. I know it's hard for you guys to see. It's now going
spinning clockwise, though.
It's now spinning clockwise.
Okay.
Wow, how big that's going. I promise you guys, I'm not moving my hand. And this is why, I do not want you to believe me. I want you to try this for yourself. We do this all the time. Oh my gosh. So that's got a very, very big field now. Now, we learnt this. And actually I can show you.
I was going to say, please tell me you've got pictures of Dr. Emoto's experiments.
Yeah, well, we do have some of those kinds of images if everybody has seen those, but I've also got a live video of us. We do biofield testing of people, and I'm just going to show you just very quickly how I've transformed this life force energy. I'd love you guys to try it for yourself. All you need is I really love this pendulum. Like, it's a copper pendulum with some bits in. You can use a crystal pendulum. Crystals can absorb energy and information, and sometimes they get a bit sticky and don't work so well. You got one there?
Yeah, can I go just there?
Go grab it. Yeah. Go grab it, and go grab me a glass of water or a cup of water. And I will try.
Right. Just before we like a slight interlude here. So if all matter is energy, and it only is solid matter because of the frequency that it's vibrating at, is right. But Oh no, do you know what? Right, okay, cool. That's fine. All gold.
All
Just
that also called. Sorry, I'm just yeah, I've just got a little video
that's
here.
right. So can you screen share that on here?
Yes, I can. I'm just trying to, I don't know why there's so many. All right. Sorry, guys, it's got loads of stuff in this background and I don't know why it's there.
Forgive me for 1 second. I'm just gonna.
Oh, right, it's on YouTube. Sorry, guys, just talking to myself.
You're right.
Oh, which experiment shall I show you? I'm going to show you the cucumber experiment. This is the famous cucumber experiment. Sorry, I've just teed that up. So, so Anne-Marie's got her water. I'm just going to pin you to my screen so I can just see what you're doing a little bit better. Brilliant. So you can feel it come in, and there might be a little field there, or there might not be. You see it's wibbling around, it's trying to find. You might want to lift it up slightly, just a little bit. That's it. Because you're right in the field there. Is that going anti-clockwise?
Yeah.
Anti-clockwise. There we go. It's crazy, right? Crazy? Crazy.
This has sat here for a month.
Yeah,
More.
go on then. You try it.
It's swinging like that right around the bottle. It's anti-clockwise, flying here.
Because plastic degrades water. This is why you can prove this yourself. You can get like a glass container and you can chop vegetables up. Yeah, I did this experiment once. And I got some vegetables, chopped them all up into little pieces, ready to do meal prep for the week. I put half of them in a Tupperware plastic jug and half of them in a glass jug. A week later or 5 days later, the vegetables were perfect in the glass. In the plastic, they were mushy by day 3. That is degrading the water. Plastic degrades water. Plastic is in water, it's in processed foods, it's in everything. It's on your clothes. You know, most of our clothes are made of polyester these days instead of cotton. And this is because it degrades the water. It sucks the life force energy. It gets the molecules to spin the wrong way. Look at that experiment.
Does the microwave do the same?
The microwave does exactly the same. And it literally, I was reading a study the other day that when you steam broccoli, only 11% of the nutrients are lost, but 97% of the nutrients are lost when you microwave. They're like you're sucking the life force energy out. And it's what will make you hungry, right? Because you've got no life force energy, you'll be hungry all the time because they haven't got this life force energy. If I just share my screen now, there's another way you can test the biofield of people, and these are called dowsing rods, if anyone's ever seen these. And if you go and ask any gas engineer or water engineer, they will tell you they use these day in, day out. It's not very well publicized. And in fact, there's some information on Google debunking it out there. But you actually could talk to the engineers and they say they're much more reliable than the technology that they have. So, and what this is doing is this becomes like an extension of you. You hold them in 2 hands. So this is kind of like a visual tool. Some people don't need this, right? Because they become so sensitive to energies. They just need to use their hands and go, okay. Because they've just practiced. It's like they're not magical. They've just practiced. That's all. So with these rods, what happens is if I'm holding it here, I've got a field. And this, I put my thumbs on the end to keep them straight like this. If I'm inside somebody else's or something else's field, they'll push open, right? Because their field is pushing back, okay? But when I get to the end of their field, it'll cross over like this. So you'll hold it like this, and let's say there was an object or a person in front of me, and they were close enough up, they would push back. As they step back, I'm doing this, I'm making them do this, they will cross over. You can do this on food. You can do this on anything. And we typically use these as a way to explain. I'm just going to show this video now. And it's about an organic cucumber grown in the garden versus one that's been in a plastic packet in the supermarket shelves. So let me just share if I've got sharing. Can Can I have the power, please, Edward?
Of course.
There we go. So this is screen number. Let me just check and make sure I've got the right one. And hopefully you guys can see.
Yeah.
You've got this. Okay, so let me just play this video. I'm getting excited in the video, so what is it?
Experiment 2.0, and I'm going to cut it now. This has been growing for 3 months. Ready for our next experiment.
This is a store-bought cucumber though, right? So we're taking it out the packet, ready to test it against the one in the garden. Experiment measuring the life force energy of a store-bought organic cucumber versus a homegrown organic cucumber. Yeah, the rods just won't settle. It tells you it's got a very small, weak field. Whoa, check that field out. The rods are being pushed back because the field is big. This disc has frequencies embedded that are a high frequency, and it boosts your aura. So you can measure it here. If you just watch what's going, look at that field fly back again, just like the cucumber. So we get the store-bought cucumber with the weak field. We place it on just for a few seconds, and that transforms the water inside the cucumber. Check this out. Remember what it's like before? It's massive again. Can you see? Whoa, check that out.
That's how I'll stop sharing. And that's what I did with this water. I got one of these discs. I'll explain how we make them shortly. And I touched the glass with the water in, and I transformed the water. The allegory of Jesus turning water into wine is not really about him turning water into wine. It's about this. And it's something that our grandparents and our ancestors do very well. And this is why when people used to pray over their food and give it good energy, and then they would absorb it. This is the reason, because we have this power to transform things.
Of course. That makes such sense.
It makes such sense, right? So what we've done is now the bad part of this, and I have another video to show this, is when you hold a mobile phone, it destroys your life force energy auric field. So when you are grounded to the earth, and that means taking your shoes and socks off, and you're connected to the earth, not to your laminate wood flooring, which is plastic, but connected to the earth. Your field is massive. It's like, it could be 20 meters big. And you are therefore interacting with nature. And that's why everyone feels so connected with nature when they're outside. So you can sit down, it doesn't have to be your feet, right? As soon as you put your shoes on, your field becomes smaller. And it depends on how well you are, but also some people are unwittingly, knowingly, that they're controlling how big their aura is. So sometimes you, like on the bus, you want to pull it in. You don't want to be interacting with people, so you can do that. But when you hold a mobile phone, your field is, for the most people's that we have tested, and we're talking thousands of people by now, their field is completely destroyed. In fact, their aura has holes in it. And this is the reason why people are disconnected. So children under the age of 14 have a massive auric field. I mean, it goes on tens and tens of meters. When they hold anything with a battery, it's not just a mobile phone, it destroys your auric field, which is why when kids are gaming or have got mobile phones, you're calling them, you're going, dinner's ready, dinner, and they're not hearing you. They feel like they're in another place because they're completely disconnected from you. That's what's happening. And the same with people. And so we've figured out a way to combat that, because me and Kelly, you just saw Kelly holding the rods there. We were trying to figure out for the last 5 years, How can we connect people to the ground and get their life force energy big so they feel all the benefits of being in nature? We know how wonderful we feel when we're in nature and on a holiday and by the sea and all that kind of stuff. How can we do that, but without getting our feet wet? Because we're in England and we can't be out all side. So there's something very special about Kelly. Kelly had a near-death experience. Well, basically, she did basically pass over, and a version of herself, like her soul from a different life, entered her body, and she had very many similar memories to what she has now, but she was a different and a very changed person after that experience. It was very traumatic for her to discover this. A few things changed. One, she started to know stuff she didn't know before. She'd never meditated before. But she also can't remember the first 5 years of her daughter's life because they're just not memories for her. And she's got big chunks of memories missing. And so when we came together, we really wanted to change the status quo and to educate people about life force energy, because unwittingly, people are draining their life force energy by being at work in front of computers, by holding mobile phones or anything with a battery, by wearing smartwatches and all this stuff. And if people knew that this was happening, and the reason why they feel run down, the reason why in the office in the afternoon you want a snack all the time, is because it's not because you're bored, it's because you've got no life force energy. You're being sucked dry. And this is why you're craving food. And this is why your kids are disconnected. We wanted to educate people, but we also wanted to come up with a solution. And so we've created these shields. They look very simple. They are simple, but the technology behind it is not simple. This is a toroidal field. This is what your field looks like, going around in a clockwise direction. And we've embedded frequencies in here of nature, effectively. So what happens is when you hold this on your mobile phone, or you can even have it on your purse. You don't even have it on your on your phone, just like you've seen in that experiment. I just need to touch it to this for a few seconds. It transforms a life force energy. It gets everything spinning the right way round. And I would also tell you guys, if I was to get this water and I was to put it on the ground outside in the earth, the same thing would happen, right? It's not that we're doing anything different than what is happening naturally. We've just managed to create these, what we call the biofield defense shield. And we've got water, the water chargers. With the quantum water chargers, you put them on your water, like your water jug, and that will transform the water. So if you want me to, I can show you the video of what happens with a mobile phone and then what happens with a sticker. Do you guys want to see that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okie dokie. Let me just find. We've got quite a few of these. It's just yes, this is we went to an event, and even in a busy event, sorry, there we go. Let's just share my field. Screen 2. We're all getting good at Zoom and things like this, aren't we now? So that we were out in a busy place. And this lady said, "Oh, that's crazy." She's going in with the rods here. And just where it's very hot, it's a little bit hard to see. That's where a normal field is. It's a bit short, but we're in a public place, and a lot of people are in it. She's holding her phone now in case you guys miss that. It's destroyed her field.
So she basically doesn't have an aura when she's holding her mobile phone.
Now she's just holding the shield, and now her field is massive, look.
That's bad.
We're also teaching people how to do this. We don't want to be the only people with this knowledge and how to test this. It's like seeing's believing, right? And we see so many people with these devices, and people do not, they're blaming their illnesses on invisible viruses. I mean, and on bugs that are going around, and they're not blaming the thing that it actually is. And we need to educate ourselves. We need to get this information out there, because the mobile phone companies and the corporations are certainly not going to do that. It is too big a business, and we have a responsibility to educate ourselves, because they're not, and the government is not, and the NHS is not. They're all companies. They all make money. They all need money, but we can protect ourselves. And I was doing a lot of things myself before I met Kelly, to try and work out how to ground myself. Like, you can put pins at the bottom of your shoes. Do you remember at school when you used to get like when you used to tread on a drawing pin? And that would go through. I was trying all these kind of split pins and everything to try and get grounded to the earth to do this. And then when I met Kelly and we put our knowledge together, our knowledge of water, our knowledge of biofields, our knowledge of quantum physics, and then we came up with these devices, and they are just so simple. And the other trick that I just want to explain to you guys, as well as about these fields, is I've just transformed this water. If I take one drop of this transformed water and put it into something that isn't, it will transform it. That is how powerful structured water is. That is how powerful it is. And over the summer, we did these experiments. We did it in front of like a live audience of 200 people. We sort of brought 5 or 6 people out. We did this a few times. We measured the biofields of everybody, so we knew where everybody was. And then we got somebody out of the audience at the front. We then transformed the water, got them to drink it or put it onto their skin. It doesn't matter. It makes no difference. It's all going into their field. And then we watched their aura grow. So it was massive. We then got them to touch the shoulder of the person next to them. And because they were vibrating so high, because of the high frequencies in these devices, and it's going the right way around, the person next to them was transformed. You can't very easily drag somebody's energy down. I mean, we all know energy vampires, but it's very hard to do. It is extremely easy to lift people up, because the earth is naturally a high frequency and we should be in it. So once we get there, it's very easy to get there and stay there, and it's very easy to spread. So literally, I am walking around like a high vibration machine, and everybody says to me, you've heard this term, magnetic personality. These are people that you can feel come in the room, because their auric field is affecting everybody 10, 20 meters away. And this is what we all should be. And once you understand how the universe really works, you can then start living that life and having that energy, and start now thinking about the food that you're putting in your body. Is that mind blown enough for
Thursday evening? Yeah, it most certainly is.
Wow.
Okay, so if someone was of, what would be the word? A spiritual proclivity, would you recommend that they bless, even quietly, everything they eat and drink? Can your mind influence the energetic field of the thing that you're about to consume?
100%? We've proven it. You can prove it yourself with that method that I've explained to you about the dowsing rods. Prove it to yourself. You saw Dr. Emoto's work, and maybe we can put, maybe I can find some things on the screen if you'd like, and show some of his pictures. Like there's Vader Austin now. I mean, she's got some beautiful pictures.
So, sorry to interrupt you. Just for the sake of Anne-Marie, who may not know what we're talking about,
Yeah. So this is so what they have both proven is that so Dr. Emoto is the first person to do this. There was that if you he did the rice experiment. This is the first good one. He got 2 jars of rice with water in, and to one jar he spoke very nicely, and to the other jar he spoke very badly to. After some time, the jar that he spoke badly to became mouldy, as it would do anyway over time. But the one that he spoke nicely to was not mouldy. It thrived. It lasted a lot longer. The words, because your voice is a vibration, it's not because
Frequencies. Yeah.
it's of different frequencies. So when you give disharmonious frequency, you know when you're feeling horrible because you get like this and the whole energy changes, isn't it? And you know it, you feel it. You're like, oh, that wasn't very nice. Stop it, Joe. Right? And because it resonates in the water inside you. So what they did then is they also got water and they spoke kindly to it and not kindly to it, and then froze the water. I think Dr. Emoto used a crystal technique and then looked at the crystals underneath. When the water was spoke too badly, the crystals looked very disorganized and the patterns were horrible. When the water was spoken to nicely, you had these beautiful crystals, which basically look like beautiful snowflakes and flowers, and these mandalas that you see everywhere. So when you're looking in churches, or you go abroad and you see all these beautiful swirly patterns, they knew, because it's in the water and you can see it. And anybody, by the way, can do these experiments the ways Lady Austin explains. And we've done these experiments ourselves. We've got water from many places, like the Bosnian pyramids, around UK, in various places. When we transform the water, we've done these experiments. You can see. And they're very, very simple to do. I won't go into that now. Look at Veda Austin and the 5-minute freezing method. That's what you need for, and it's there.
But Anne-Marie,
Yeah.
our brain and our mouth create waves of energy. Our bodies are made mostly of water, and most of our food has plenty of water, and most of what we are drinking is made up of water. So if we are thinking and saying unkindness, anger, resentment, jealousy, or are surrounding ourselves in people who act, think, and speak that way, that there is a much more of a direct link between the energy, I don't want to sound like a hippie, but like the energy of our environment, good vibes, encouragement, like gratitude, and your real world, like real world physical health. They are not, it's not woo-woo to think about brainwaves, like positive attitudes, kindness, love, all these things. It's not because that way my life's a wee bit nicer. It is really literally structuring your reality.
Completely. And it's not woo-woo, it's proven, it's scientific, and this has been going on for a long time. Just because you don't get taught it at schools, because schools are about 50 years behind, aren't they? Actually, what's going on in the world. We all know this. Don't rely on the schools and don't rely on the health service to be caught up with this stuff. And so you're right. So when you're fasting and when you're, well, one of the benefits of fasting, I feel, is that people are putting a lot less toxins in their body. This is because people are so unaware of everything that's going into their body. They're actually fasting, then you're actually stopping doing that. You give yourself the opportunity to feel well. Well, then exactly as you're saying, Edward, you need to feel and talk positively to yourself. If you say to yourself, literally, oh, I never lose weight quickly. I'm always feeling hungry. I'm tired today. Oh, I'm always tired. Do you know you're programming your reality? Everything you say is then becoming your reality. I say something a little bit like fake it before you make it. And I don't mean that in a kind of fake way, but it's kind of like a little bit of a nuance. You have to fully embody.
Don't wait till you feel it, create it.
Create it, exactly. So you've got to already be feeling amazing, and then you will feel amazing. I know it doesn't sound fair, but it's just like exercising when you've got less weight is easier than when you've got a lot of weight. Like, life's not fair, man, but it just is what it is. So you have to embody this, and the positive mindset is so important. And I would also say some of the teachings that we've had from movies and how I've been brought up, that having your girlfriend or your friend come round and bitch about their life, and your job is to say, yes, I know, God, he's such a twat, isn't he? And that is not your friend. The people that allow you to speak negatively and encourage that negativity are not your friend. They are not helping you. They are just resonating at your frequency, and all that negativity is going through. That person should be lifting you up. And you go, yeah, I understand all this, but you are a beautiful, courageous, wonderful person. Let's do this. They should be building you up. These people just keep allowing you to wallow in any self-pity, not friends. And this, we've been taught this, haven't we? Yeah, I'm ride or die and I'm with you. It's not, doesn't help. You have to transform any situation that you don't like, or any people that you like, or any negative thinkings you like. You've got two choices. You've either got to transform them into something positive, and there's always a positive. I don't care how bad things are. Or you've got to walk away. And I'll explain why everything is also a positive. If someone has been the worst that they can possibly be to you, let's say they've been really evil, you've got to think to yourself, how can someone have got to that point? They have generationally had this happen to them. You've got to have compassion. You can't hold on to it. You can't hold on to any of that bitterness and grief and trauma. You have to let it go. Someone has to break the cycle. They're not going to do it. If they're not going to do it, that's up to them to deal with, and they will deal with the consequences. You don't need to worry about that. You don't need to judge them. It's something to do with you. Your job is to heal and be the best and live the best, most vibrant, wonderful life you can, and share that positivity. Not be worried about what other people are doing, because when you've done that, when you've transformed, you can inspire others.
100%.
Thank you. Wow.
Where can we get those discs? Because I want one. In
I
fact, I
want,
want one for Jem and the boys as well.
Bless
yeah.
you. We were going to talk about this the other day. So I've got a little challenge for people who have got to the end of this. Okay. What we found is people are saying to us, when they've got these on their phones, they have more energy, they feel more alert, they're feeling less tired, which means they've gone on to do much, to do more things during the day. So, Edward, you and I have thought this is possibly then going to lead to faster weight loss, because people are going to be in a much better frame of mind. They're going to have
less cortisol, more likelihood to go for a walk, better sleep.
All of this stuff. So I've created a code called, which maybe you can put in the link when you get there. It's called Experiment 20, and everyone can get a 20% discount. And we would absolutely love everybody's feedback, because we're kind of getting some feedback along this line. But with this group, I think it's a marvelous opportunity to get some feedback about people's energy levels and everything that Edward has just been saying. So
Well,
it's
it might be the case, depending on if we can get some people to come on board and run this experiment. I don't see the harm. It isn't usually expensive, and it could be a game changer for your weight loss journey. But as we discuss every day in my little group, it's bigger than your waistline. It's actually happiness, living a long time, health conditions, mobility, like way bigger than a waistline thing. Why shouldn't every member of Weight Loss with Edward, when they come on board, get one?
I think you're absolutely right. It is having much more of an impact. Why is everybody walking uphill slowly? Why don't you level the playing field? Because this is what these devices have done. They've given you a hill to climb. Why? Let's level the playing field now that we know. So if I the website, which hopefully you'll have a link to, is called crystalwaterexperience.com. What I've just showed you is called the Biofield Defense Shield. When you use Experiment 20, you get 20% off. And we honestly, we've only just sort of started the business. It's took us ages to get all this research and this information together. We want this on every kid's phone, frankly, and every adult's phone, but the kids are really important. We've also got this offer to give a free disc. If anybody has one of these, puts it on their phone, and then sends us like a quick 20-30 minute video, not minutes, sorry, 20-second video, 30 seconds, not 30 minutes, please. Then we're going to send them a free disc, because we want to encourage people to use these. We want to, and eventually we want to be able to be doing the numbers and automate the process of putting in the frequency. So a lot of it is hand done at the moment, so we can reduce that cost. So we want to get these out there. We want to get this information out there. So it's crystalwaterexperience.com, Experiment 20, biohack, make life easy.
Amazing. Jo, thank you very much.
Blessings.
Thank you very much for your time. Very informative, and I think probably a whole new perspective or dimension on health than we've kind of explored as a group. We do a lot of the kind of the psychology of it, and we do obviously the practical of the eating, yeah, I hope quite a few of our members watch this. It actually sort of almost frightens me to the implications of all of that when you keep, that means, when it, like, the nature of reality, it's quite mind-boggling. Yeah, it really is. It really is. But it's amazing. I'm gonna really get into this. I can see this being.
Well, we can come back and do another live, maybe in a month or two, when everyone's had a chance to try this.
Yeah.
Get more people on the call and get everybody's feedback. We've been doing a live called Challenge Me to Be Pain Free, right, for the last 6 or 8 months, where Kelly has. And in that call, people come with serious chronic pain, and we change water. Everybody does this, has learned how to do this. Change their water, drink the water, and their pain goes. This is massive stuff. This is stuff we could all be doing. It's just we're not taught it.
Right.
And so, this stuff does work. I know it sounds different, but there's only one way to find out. That's for you to try.
I just finished a book on mesmerism, so one of the precursors to hypnosis. And one of the stories that the guy told is about a famous mesmerist who got a call from a woman like 150 miles away who was delirious or whatever, like bad condition, and they wanted him to go and help, but he couldn't go, and so he mesmerized a bottle of water and sent it, and it had the desired effect.
There's
wow.
it's amazing. There is a lot I haven't shared on here about how I use water, but that is entirely believable. There are some magical things you can do with water. It's not just H2O, and there's the physics and the quantum physics to prove it. And the more we all start playing with this, the more we realize how powerful this stuff is.
Amazing. Jo, thank you so much. No, go on, Amory, go on.
Sorry, Jo. So I do cold water swimming, dipping, and if I had to put that magnet in my barrel with me, would that release energy, positive? Like, would that be better than the water that's in it? Obviously.
So you go cold water in your barrel, in your tub. 100%,
Yeah.
100%. Hopefully they'll be landing next week. We've got some water charger stickers, because we've used these in people's baths, especially people with chronic pain.
I've got fibromyalgia as well.
Okay, you just need to detox and start using this stuff. I've cured people of fibromyalgia. It's not a lifelong disease. give me a message after here. I'll link you into
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
Bob,
yeah.
transform the water that you're bathing in. Where water goes, where water flows, these go.
Oh wow. Well, I have my own if you're looking for it, I'm gonna let my I started my own water group. It's called the Water Ravers.
Wow.
And I've got good contacts in that and oh wow, this is amazing. So we could get more people to buy them to try the experiment.
To go
You
into
know,
that experiment, the water charges. I mean, like I
yeah.
said, we've been doing this on this, but it will transform people. We know this is brilliant. Thank you so much for that. Imagine how
Thank you.
it can help.
yeah.
Oh wow. I'm so excited. This is amazing.
Amazing.
Thanks.
And you
Thanks.
thought you were joining a weight loss group, Anne.
I know.
It's been like, I think we've only once talked about what you're having for lunch, and the rest of the time it's been bloody archetypes and quantum physics. But that's okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, but
That's okay.
you realised a long time ago, didn't you, Edward, that this wasn't about calories in, calories out.
No, it is like that much about that, like that much. But yeah, big picture. Yeah.
Wonderful. And thank you so much for everything that you're doing. I think your take on how to fast and weight loss and health is absolutely what every medical professional really should be talking about. You're leading the way. I'm so grateful for everything you say, and I've had some fantastic feedback from my friends that have joined your group. So well done for what you're doing. It's really lovely.
Thank you. Thank you. Keep doing your good work. Thank you so much for taking the time to come and speak tonight. And
Thank
yeah,
you.
we'll do something with this, and then we'll have like a feedback thing at some point in maybe the next month or 2 months or something.
Bless you.
And will I get you on the Joe? Will I get you on crystalwaterexperience.co?
Yes, Dr.
Well, I'll connect you.
Yeah.
Fab. Brilliant, guys.
Thank
Thank you.
you very much.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
so much.
Bye.
Brilliant. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.